Always remember, your focus determines your reality. Stay close to me, and you'll be safe.
Hey guys, how are you doing? So today we're gonna go over like my GA defenses, my offenses. For me being a 3.8 million GP, actually I think I'm like 3.9 now, but for that kind of GP, I'm kind of forced into a bracket where I need to be fighting people that are almost a million GP above me, and I am kind of forced to place 8 defenses and then use and have to fight 8 teams. So let's chat about, what is the best way for me to prioritize my defense and my offense, what I think is the best for my case. I don't really care if like the people that watch my videos I'm going to be fighting in my GA, if they watch it, I don't really care. This is more of a strategy for everybody, not just for my specific situation I'm in. So besides that though, we will also show you guys the mods and comparing that to my old GA opponents that I had in the first round in the exhibition, just so you get a feel for like what I'm going up against, and let's go from there. Alright, so let's go and check. This was the second opponent I had, and this was the toughest one, so this is going to be kind of a showcase of what I would typically fight in a GA. Okay, so my character GP compared to his was around 300k extra or less, but let's go over the Zetas, Gear 12, and the mods. So that's really the main important thing here, and how you're going to be, categorized in the brackets of who you're going to be going up against, the matchmaking, stuff like that. So first off, the Zetas. I had, at the time of doing this, I had one more Zeta than him, so the Zetas are very, very similar, almost identical. 7-star, he does have a little bit more than me, but when you come down to Gear 12, we are pretty similar there, only 6 different Gear 12s. Still, you can still work with that. You don't have to think of that as a negative, because you only have to set 8 teams. Only, I mean, I don't really mean only, but that's crazy a lot. But if you think about it, 8 teams and having 65 Gear 12s is not that bad. But besides that, for the mods, I did beat him by quite a bit of the 6E mods. I had 83 at the time. And then for all the other mods, we were pretty much identical. He does have a little bit more 15 pluses than me, and he has a little bit more of those 100 plus offenses. But besides that though, this is pretty similar. I think this guy had around 4.8 million GP when I was fighting him. So definitely a tough opponent, not gonna lie to you guys. So this is good, just to get you guys an idea of what I would be typically going up against. So now that we have that, let's go into the setting of the defenses that I will typically use, and my offense as well. So since my last GA, I have kind of been making teams, and I did a stream a little bit ago remodding my whole roster. I didn't really do my whole roster. I did, everybody besides a few teams that I really don't use a whole lot, but mainly for my GAs. That's what I'm getting at. So since I've been doing the remodding in my roster stuff, I've actually been implementing a couple new teams and a couple variations of the same teams that I've been using. But typically what I'm going to use is I'm going to typically use both Revans for defense. So you got Jedi Revan there and Darth Revan there. I don't have Sith Trooper, but if I did, I would 100% put him with a Dooku, or in place of Dooku. And I really think Thrawn is really tough on defense, just because, you get the TM swap, and then you get the bombs with HK going, and then you remove a lot of the fears, and then once you hit a fear, they have the cooldown increase, and that's really big off the bat. And my Darth Revan is pretty fast as well, 316 I think speed. Besides those 2 Revans, I have now put Jango Lead as my main bounty hunter team, and what I'm trying this GA is Nest in place of Zam. So the main idea here is to have Bosk go first, and then having Nest and then Jango Fett, so that way he gets up his frenzy first with a taunt, and then Nest comes in doing the daze, and then just triggering the frenzy over and over again, so he basically gets his frenzy back before he even is able to use before the enemy team is able to do really anything. So the speeds there are pretty clocked, and they should be going right in the right turn order. Same goes with the First Order. This is a very typical First Order team, nothing crazy about it. You want Officer to be the fastest, and then you want OG Kylo to be second, and then you want Stormtrooper to be after that. That way you can get the TM train really going. And in the defense and how the AI plays Officer is pretty important to know. They do not go for the swapping of the TM in the offense game. That ability, they actually use the pinning shot where it removes the TM instead. And that's why you want to go for more potency and more speed on that guy. I did a video though on how to mod these guys, the Zeta Order, all that stuff. So if you want to go check that out, go feel free to. Besides Bounty Hunters in First Order, I'm going to stick with using Night Sisters on defense and putting them in a bait zone. That way, they kind of the opponent kind of has to decide whether or not they want to use Traya versus my Night Sisters or not. But the main person here you want to be on the lookout for is Spirit. If you are fighting this team and you don't take care of Spirit early on, you will lose because she is going to almost one-shot some of your guys because she does. She has 100% extra defense penetration, or what is it? She ignores armor or something like that. I'm not too sure there, but she does have a lot of offense. And in previous battles where I've been fighting this team, I'm not able to take care of the Spirit, and in turn she's going to one-shot my Scion, which typically happens. Traya and Nihilus are pretty tanky at that time of the battle, so really Spirit is the MVP here in these teams. And for that reason, and having Spirit, I'm going to go with more defense rather than offense with them. Besides the Night Sisters, actually no, I have one more thing to talk about for Night Sisters. So if I had Gear 13 Spirit or Gear 13 Daka, I would actually swap around the leads, so it would be Talzin instead. That way, all the revives happening it really generates a lot of TM for the team. And Spirit doing basics, if she does happen to die fast or die first, she's going to be revived, doing all those extra calling into assist and stuff like that, which would be really cool to see. And I think with Gear 13, you kind of want to go more for the Talzin leadership rather than the Asajj, but that might be up for debate. But besides that, let's go on to Qarth now. Qarth, I do not have Juhani, so I'm kind of stuck using young Han, as a 5th. I really wish I had Juhani, but she's only really good in the Qarth team, and honestly, if you have like a counter to this team, like a First Order, then it's really useless. First Order just stomp on these guys, it's not very good at all. But I did change some mods here. I went for some crit damage, crit chance on Mission, and in Qarth, so they are a little bit hard hitting, and they're a little bit faster as well. Zalbar has a lot of extra tenacity, a lot of, protection, making sure that he's alive longer, and then I have Canderous modded for offense. I did a lot of these different mods in remodding. So besides that though, guys, we're kind of at the last little bit of the defense, and really it's kind of tough for me to be able to place 8 teams. I'm working on the Geos and the droids for Grievous, or with Grievous rather. And I'm really thinking that those 2 teams and those different teams for the Separatists will really be the best, 7th and 8th defensive team for me. I think a backwall Grievous team is probably one of the hardest things to fight in these GAs. Because if you burn through some of the counters with the other teams, you're going to be kind of stuck behind the Grievous wall. And, with the Magna Guard being there, B2 being there, B1 feeding all the extra HP and protection, it's really hard to fight that team. And if you guys did watch the other video I had on Grievous, you can kind of see how tough it is, especially at Gear 13 level Grievous. That is just really ridiculous to fight. So besides that, we are running Geos, and I think Geos are kind of underrated. I know there's some videos circling about on YouTube about them, and I really think they're going to be a great faction. The Zeta on Brood Alpha is really key here. And I might Zeta him before this GA because it's the unique one where it calls in the extra, I'm not sure what his name is, but the extra Geo that taunts for the start of the battle, and I think that's going to be a really important one here for GA. The extra taunter, the pre-taunter, is going to be huge, and I can't wait to get these guys leveled up and geared even more to use them in the TB, getting the Watts and War starts, and even more so in this GA and TW. So I think this is an up-and-coming defensive team. It's going to be really hard to beat on defense, and there's a lot of videos, like I just said, with these guys, and they're really tough to beat if you don't have some of the better teams in the game. For the last one, we are kind of just stuck using some really, I wouldn't say they're garbage teams, but there is some synergy here. This is a thermal detonator team with Zam, and it has Zam, Cad, Greedo, Stormtrooper Han, and the Hoth Han, the Commander Han, and I know some of these guys are not in Gear 12, like the two Hans, but this is going to be somewhat of a, front wall team kind of baiting the back zone, if you will. So they really think it's going to be an easy going, but they get to the back wall and boom, you're getting hit with, a Night Sister team, the Darth Revan team and stuff like that. So this is more of a front wall type of team. Besides that though, let's go on to the offense on this video. Before we get on to the offense, actually guys, I will be starting my streams up on Twitch. I will link you guys the Twitch link in the description of the video, so be sure to go check out Twitch. I know this is kind of right before GA starts, but I would love to move my channel for streams over to Twitch instead of YouTube. I just think it's going to be a little better, but don't worry if you aren't going to go over to Twitch and watch the live streams. I'll be sure to take little clippets of my battles and make them into a video format for YouTube, so be sure to look out for those as well. But for offense here, guys, we're going to go for the counters to all the hard teams in this game. First off is Padme. Padme is going to be my main counter to the Malak team. That's why I have some of these guys Gear 13 first. And then CLS is more of a saving for the back wall, deciding which ones I want to use this against. I'm going to stick with R2 and Old Ben in this because I find the taunt and the extra, stealth and extra boost in the stats with R2 is really going to be helpful in this team. And depending on whether or not they have a good back wall or not, I could probably just use the three there, CLS, Han, Chewie, to beat a okay team in the back wall, nothing too crazy. But yeah, you can beat quite a lot of teams with this. If I had really good mods on this, I could even use this versus, the Malaks. But I'm going to just save my Padme for that team. And then down here is the trio, the Triumvirate. Nihilus, Traya, and Scion. And this is my Night Sister team, or what else could I use this versus? I could probably use this versus, a number of teams in the game right now, but the main one is going to be the Night Sisters. I can get a lot of banners using this versus Night Sisters. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, though, on the defense part and having Spirit there is going to be a lot more tricky, and you got to kind of worry about her earlier on. And if you don't, you're going to probably lose Scion. And if you lose Scion before he gets held by Hatred, it's not going to go well for you. So I have these guys a little bit different modded than I had before. I went for some more protection and HP on Scion rather than I had before, which was around 80k. Now he's around 100 plus k. And I'm going to keep the same mods on Traya and Nihilus. Tanky, a little bit fast. You don't need to worry too much about speed on Nihilus because he gains a lot of extra TM from the debuffs on the other two. And then down here, this is my my First Order / Bounty Hunter team that I'm going to use to kill those guys. Just a normal JTR BB-8. I'm going to use actually Rey in here, and this could be swapped out for another droid I have. Not sure if I want to do that or just stick with Rey. We'll have to see depending on what I'm fighting, but besides that, we're going to use Finn and Trooper in here. I really like Trooper because you don't need to worry about doing basics anymore in this JTR lead because every time he crits, he's going to be, giving Expose out. So you can just keep spamming his special ability, and that's really great to see. And then Finn is nice to have there because he does a special where you get more buffs and more protection HP. That way you can get some more banners as well. Besides that, though, this EP team can also be used versus a Night Sister team, but you got to watch out. If the team is really, really good on the mods and the speeds, you probably want to stick with the Traya team instead. But this can beat Kira with Nest team. But the thing here is you gotta time the saber throws with all the dots on Nest at the right times, or else you're gonna lose. I learned that the hard way in my GAs, so I will better figure out this team and how to use them even more in the upcoming GAs. So that's gonna be another team I'll probably use versus the Night Sisters or the Qarth team, depending on who I see. And then this is kind of the end of my offense, depending on what there is. I'll probably be using the Ewoks versus a backwall team. I was able to beat a Geonosian team. It wasn't, maxed out or anything crazy like that, but they were able to pull it off. So that's pretty cool to see. And then Troopers up here, you can just use this versus kind of anything, really. If I had range, which I really wish I had range, I would probably use this versus a Bounty Hunter team and making sure all the mods are great on them. But I don't, and I would love to get him in the future. And the same thing with Paplu for the Ewoks. Those two really make the factions like 10 times better and a lot easier to fight these other teams with. Besides those two, we have Rex, Wampa, and Hoda. This can beat some Rebels teams and First Order as well. And Ewoks, if you have Ewoks in there as well. this is going to be a team I'm going to always save no matter what. With the defense, I had Nest in there, and depending on what I'm going to be needing Nest for, I might swap her back for offense. Just depends on what I'm going to be using, what I'm not going to be using, how I'm feeling really. So this is more of like a easy banner type of team. Typically though, versus First Order, you're going to lose Rex, which kind of sucks, but Hoda's going to be there to give more HP and protection to the team. You know, being able to just get those extra banners is really huge in this GA stuff. So yeah, that's my First Order, Rebels, and even Ewok counter there. So that can beat a lot of different teams. And if I can use that First Order, I can use the JTR versus Bounty Hunter and call it a day. So that's kind of it for the whole, you know, GA, my defense and my offense. Hope that you guys find this somewhat useful. I know there's probably a lot of you guys out there that are not having a set 8 defenses like I am, but this kind of gives you an idea of what me as a, you know, somewhat free-to-play. I guess I'm not really free-to-play anymore. I did spend some on the other packs that we just got recently for the Gear 13, but for the most part, I have been playing this game for 3+ years as a free-to-play, so it is kind of hard to figure out what you want to use, but hopefully this is, you know, helpful to the point where you can decide what you want to use, what you don't want to use, and it really all comes down to what you have for the counters. The defense teams are really what you want to be going for anyways. You know, having Bounty Hunters, Night Sisters, and First Order are just a few of the cornerstones for the defense in the GA. And you know, I just think that this is some good teams I'm going to be using in my GA, and I can't wait to, you know, stream this for you guys, show it off to you even more so. And yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. I think we're going to wrap it up there, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a like, share with others, and sub for more type of this content. There's a Patreon link in the description that really helps out the channel, you know, grow with the stuff I use in the videos. Being able to, you know, support my roster a little bit more, getting more Gear 13s, helping myself out in the Grand Arena, stuff like that. And also there's a Discord link as well. So besides that though, guys, be sure to go check out the Twitch channel. We'll be streaming that in the next few GAs. And if you're not going to be, you know, showing up for the Twitch, be sure to go check out YouTube and stay tuned for YouTube videos. I'll make the streams go into a video, so we have all of the, you know, compilation of the attacks I use in that GA, and it should be a good time there. And that's it for today, guys. Hope you find this this video helpful, enjoyable, and I will see you guys later.
Nice.